Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a world plunged into darkness every evening, where every single flicker of light wasn't just functional, but a painstakingly crafted, precious thing. What an incredible challenge for any civilization. Today, we're diving into a topic that truly illuminates not just physical spaces, but an entire culture: the captivating world of lamps in the Muslim East. Our mission for this deep dive is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from an incredible source, the insights gleaned from the State Hermitage Museum's recent exhibition on Muslim lamps. We're going to uncover the sheer diversity of techniques, forms, ornaments, and reveal just how deeply the image of the lamp was woven into the very fabric of Muslim culture, becoming, far more than just a source of light.
Precisely. Without the luxury of electricity, the source of light was always, well, a simple wick, either in solid fuel, like a candle, or liquid, like an oil lamp. What's truly fascinating here is that despite this fundamental simplicity, all the artistic expression, all the ingenuity of Muslim masters was channeled into the form, the technique, and the ornamentation of these absolutely essential objects.
What I find particularly compelling here is that these weren't merely practical objects, were they?
Oh, no.
They held a far deeper, almost sacred meaning. This elevation from utility to something profound is, well, it's a crucial pivot in understanding their significance.
Absolutely. In Islam, the lamp is profoundly symbolic. It represents divine essence, the light of God. This concept is most eloquently articulated in the famous Sura of Light for the Quran, where God's light is likened to a lamp in a niche.
Ah, that beautiful imagery.
Exactly. The niche holding a lamp, the lamp encased in glass. This powerful, almost poetic image was frequently quoted by Muslim theologians and often inscribed directly onto the lamps themselves. This direct association of divine light with the physical lamp became a dominant and unifying theme throughout Muslim culture. It fundamentally altered the craftsman's approach, you see, elevating a simple item of utility to something much more sacred.
So it wasn't just about dispelling darkness in a room, but about embodying a spiritual idea, a connection to the divine. That really changes how you look at them, doesn't it?
It does.
It imbues what we might consider an everyday object with this profound layer of reverence and spiritual significance.
And when we connect this to the bigger picture, lamps were an integral part of Muslim architecture. They seamlessly blended with natural light from special windows, openings, courtyards. They formed a complete lighting complex, where artificial and natural light sources worked in sophisticated harmony to illuminate spaces, both grand and intimate.
Right, a whole system.
Exactly. In mosques, for example, chandeliers and suspended lamps were always present. They really formed the most significant part of the interior design. Imagine grand, intricately designed metal or glass lamps hanging from towering arches, their soft glow amplifying the spiritual atmosphere.
Wow.
They weren't just decorative. They were crucial for the function and the very feeling of the sacred space. They drew the eye upwards, creating a sense of awe, of contemplation.
And then the homes were different.
Conversely, yes. In residential architecture, the primary artificial lighting came from stand lamps, which we could aptly call torchers, and in later periods, candlesticks. This distinct division highlights how the function of the building, whether sacred or domestic, often dictated the type of illumination used. It created a sort of visual language of space.
So the very type of lamp could immediately tell you something about the function of the building, distinguishing public from private, sacred from secular, even before you truly stepped inside.
That's an astute observation. Design and utility were intertwined, serving as a silent guide to the architecture itself.
When we think of early lamps, the Aladdin's lamp often springs to mind. It's such an iconic image, really etched into our cultural imagination. What was the most archaic type, and how did this foundational design truly begin to evolve in the Muslim East?
Well, the oil lamp, often romantically known as Aladdin's lamp, was indeed the most widespread and arguably the most archaic type. It consisted of a simple container, often ceramic, with a spout for the oil and a small opening where the wick was inserted. Early versions, while functional, produced a rather dim, flickering light, which naturally led to fascinating innovations over time. In later periods of the Muslim Middle Ages, artisans began adding multiple spouts to these lamps, for example. We see fantastic multi-spout lamps from Kubachi.
The Kubachi, right? In Dagestan.
That's the one, a renowned craft center. These were designed to burn much brighter, offering significantly more illumination from a single object. It really transformed the quantity of light available. And what's more, this basic oil lamp design actually dates back to antiquity. Its roots stretch across the entire Mediterranean. The earliest forms were often boat-shaped and unglazed, simple in their earthen construction. They transitioned remarkably smoothly into the early Islamic era.
So a lot of continuity there.
Huge continuity. In places like Egypt, it's often quite challenging for archaeologists to distinguish pre-Islamic from early Islamic examples, precisely because early Muslim art drew so heavily on the rich heritage of the conquered peoples and cultures. Think of the deep influences from Byzantine and Coptic Egypt, for instance. For centuries, these regions were vibrant centers of a broader ancient civilization, and Islamic art consciously incorporated, adapted, and then innovated upon these existing traditions.
And then came a distinctive feature of the Muslim era, a clear innovation that really set their lamps apart, didn't it? A departure from those older traditions.
Precisely. A truly significant development in the Muslim period was the widespread use of glazed ceramics, including glazed lamps. The diversity and richness of glazes employed in early Islamic pottery, and therefore in the lamps themselves, became a hallmark. If you compare an ancient or pre-Islamic oil lamp, typically unglazed and plain, with those from the early Islamic centuries, well, the striking variety of colors, textures, decorative glazes, it immediately differentiates them. And this wasn't just about aesthetics. Glazing also made the lamps more durable, easier to clean.
Practical, too.
Exactly. The Persian term for such lamps was shirah, and in Arabic, siraj, though it's interesting to note that the Arabic term itself is a modified borrowing from Persian, shows that cultural exchange even influenced the terminology.
It's fascinating how a simple functional object like an oil lamp became not just a necessity, but a canvas for artistic and technical innovation. A constant drive for improvement and beauty. So from those foundational, often handheld oil lamps, which truly set the stage, we see this clear evolution. Now, if we shift focus from that broad evolution, let's explore how these lighting solutions adapted to more specific architectural needs, particularly in homes, those fascinating torches you mentioned.
These torches, yes.
Right.
They were essentially stand lamps, designed to be placed in wall niches or on elevated stands to strategically provide light. You can compare them quite well to modern floor lamps in their elevated placement, but of course, powered by an oil lamp and wick instead of electricity.
Right.
The term torture is actually an apt descriptive comparison. It conjures an image of an upright, light-bearing stand.
And these were mainly for homes.
Primarily associated with residential spaces, yes. Used extensively in living quarters throughout the Muslim East, reaching as far as Central Asia. Their elevated design and localized light made them ideal for illuminating specific areas within a home, perhaps a reading nook or a gathering space.
It's quite rare to find a complete example of a torture, isn't it? You're talking about the full assembly, the lamp, the shaft, the tripod base.
Oh, very rare.
Many components were often made separately or lost over time. That makes the exhibition's display of such pieces particularly special, and it really highlights something important about their regional variety.
Yes, finding complete pieces is indeed a significant challenge. Often you'll find just the oil vessel, or maybe a fragment of the base. That's why seeing the rare, complete stand lamp at the Hermitage exhibition was such a powerful experience. It truly allowed us to visualize how these intricate structures stood, illuminating a residential space, connecting all the separate pieces of history. And beyond that, the exhibition aimed to showcase both the universality of these lamp types across the vast Muslim East and the incredible diversity of local forms and decoration.
Like what, for instance?
Well, for instance, you could see a striking bird-shaped lamp, perhaps made of bronze or intricately carved stone, crafted in Muslim communities in India, placed alongside a multi-spout glazed ceramic Algerian lamp from the Maghreb, the Western North African region. Each piece reflecting the unique artistic traditions, available materials, and ingenuity of its specific region, yet serving the same fundamental purpose.
It's clear that the placement of a lamp spoke volumes about its context. But what about those ethereal suspended lights, often seen in grander, more public settings? How did hanging lamps, with their own unique history, further shape the visual and symbolic landscape?
Suspended lamps also have deep pre-Islamic origins. They were used in antiquity, and notably in Byzantine churches across the Eastern Mediterranean. In the Islamic era, they were modernized, often enlarged to impressive sizes, and became a powerful symbol themselves. They underwent a profound transformation from mere utilitarian objects into something iconic and deeply sacred.
More than just light sources again.
Much more. These vessel-shaped suspended lamps are, in fact, a pervasive visual symbol of the sacred and religious sphere in Islam. They are iconic of Muslim mosques, grand mausoleums, madrasas, various shrines. You'll often see their images meticulously depicted on prayer mats carved into tombstones, even adorning mihrabs, the prayer direction niches in mosques.
Right.
This widespread visual representation underscores their deep symbolic importance. And it raises an important question: how an object of such practical utility could be elevated to such a profound, recognizable, and enduring religious symbol across an entire civilization?
Beyond their physical presence and sacred symbolism, how did lamps feature in the stories and art of the time? Did they become part of the visual narrative, guiding the viewer?
The exhibition provided unique insights into this, particularly through illuminated manuscripts. A fantastic example is the Maqamat al-Hariri.
Ah, the picaresque novels.
Exactly, one of the most popular medieval books in the Arabic East. The exhibition featured exquisite miniatures from one of the earliest illustrated Arabic manuscripts of this work still in existence, on loan from the Institute of Oriental Manuscripts. And these aren't just pretty pictures, they're windows into medieval daily life and storytelling.
So how did the lamps fit in?
Well, these miniatures skillfully used lamp depictions to immediately convey the setting. When a scene took place in a mosque, for instance, suspended lamps would invariably be shown within the arches, and in a major Friday mosque, a particularly large, ornate suspended lamp would be prominently displayed in the main arch. No ambiguity about the solemnity and scale of the location.
Clear visual cue.
Absolutely. Conversely, if torches, those stand lamps on tripods, were depicted, perhaps in a quiet corner of a room, it instantly signaled a residential setting. For example, in the Maqamat, tortures are vividly shown when the protagonist sits at night in a modest room, maybe studying or reflecting, only to be visited by Abu Zaid, the cunning trickster. The artists use these details as incredibly clever visual shorthand, giving the viewer instant cues about the architectural space, the social context, the unfolding story, all without a single word.
So lamps weren't just objects, they were narrative devices, giving the viewer instant cues about the space and the story. That's an ingenious shorthand for any artist, especially in a visual culture where every detail carried significant weight. What an incredible journey we've taken. From the fundamental human challenge of creating light without electricity, we've seen how lamps in the Muslim East evolved far beyond mere utility. They became profound symbols of divine essence, essential defining elements of architecture, and even clever, elegant tools for storytelling in medieval art. It's truly a testament to human ingenuity, artistic flair, and deep spiritual connection.
Indeed. It profoundly highlights the ingenuity and artistic depth of a culture that transformed a basic necessity into such diverse, intricate, and deeply meaningful objects. These lamps tell us not just how people saw in the dark, but how they saw the world, their faith, and themselves. They offer a tangible, luminous window into the spiritual, practical, and artistic life of the Muslim East, revealing a culture rich in symbolism and innovation.
So what does this all mean for you? Next time you switch on a light, whether it's a modern LED or a bedside lamp, maybe consider this. The way a culture chooses to illuminate its world tells us so much about its values, its art, its spiritual beliefs, and even its stories. What can the lamps around us today, in their diverse forms and functions, tell future generations about our world and what we value most?